feel me? Don't even try to expect the unexpected. Just know you're in desperate mode. You gotta show everything, all the work, you know what I'm saying? You're only as good as your last fight. Think about it. You want to prove to the UFC. UFC trying to keep you as a gatekeeper, if you think about it.
I'm fucking gatekeeper, kid. I mean, fucked up, dog. A gatekeeper, man, for real. That word and me do not go together. No fucking keeper or no gates. From the beginning of fighting, you know, I kind of always like got into little like knucklehead street fights, you know, so that's where I kind of developed just like no technique at all, just like street fight punches, you know, watching boxing videos. And I started off as a wrestler, you know, I'm like, my first few fights, it was like me going in, taking people down and throwing heavy punches, like, you know, what is kind of like a street fighter wrestler almost. And you know, I just started developing my game a little bit, and moved down to Florida, and you know, I linked up with Henry Hoof, and that's when my striking like really became what it is now. Everything got controlled, and I was striking with a purpose rather than just throwing punches, you know, trying to hit something.
The busiest man in the world.
Straight off the plane. Don't complain. But I'm still insane.
Man, my first memories of practice was, it's actually funny, I walked to the mat with my socks on. Right, and this dude, Jacob Ritchie, I can never forget him, man. He's still a good friend of mine today. He's one of the guys that kind of taught me how to kick a little bit, but he's like, hey, well, you going to a slumber party or something? You know what you got your socks on for? And I just look like a clown out here with my socks on, and like that's like my first memory of it. You know, I've always had like the wrestling background, so going into practice, you know, I was still able to compete with everybody and hold my own, but there was a special kind of class, like pros got invited to this class, so it took me like 3 months to get invited because I was waiting on them to invite me. So they were like, man, what were you waiting on? I was like, you know, I was just kind of playing my role, you know, trying to develop the game and see how the fight game really is in a controlled environment like that. So yeah, that's some of my first memories. So Springfield Fight Club, and never forget it, you know, that's how I started this game.
Crank up, dog. Crank up, dog. That's right. Crank up, dog.
You know, my learning curve probably had to be going into the tough house. You know, I was doing local shows. You know, I was 4-4 at one point in local shows. I remember like it was yesterday. You know, I was in a chokehold against a guy named Romero Hernandez. It was like in the second round, and he was choking me, and I'm like, damn. I'm either finna tap and just say, fuck fighting, I'm not finna deal with it, or I'm finna muscle out of this and see where this can take me. And, you know, obviously I muscled out of it, you know, I ended up winning the decision. And, you know, I remember like yesterday, and I just kind of like took off, and, you know, I didn't lose until I got into the UFC from that point, you know, and I looked at one of my friends at the time, and, or I looked at one of my best friends now, Jesse Zeigen, and I told him like, yo, I'm never gonna lose a fight, you know, until I get into the UFC. And that was that point where I kind of took that next step, you know. But then going into the tough house, being around other professional athletes, you know, seeing George St. Pierre and Josh Koscheck, and seeing all the you know, high athlete, elite wrestlers, elite strikers come in, you know, Phil Nurse doing striking, you know, John Danaher, jiu-jitsu, like, I've never seen like this high level before. So it was really a time where I was like, wow, like this shit is serious. Like these guys really know what they're doing. It's really a profession and more than just, you know, going in there throwing punches. And I think from that time on is where I really, you know, buckled down and started learning the game.